Today I'm going to share a recipe with you. I've been tinkering around with making chocolate treats and caramel because the ingredients in prepared food is so bad. I will share my chocolate treats with you in future videos, but today we're going to make caramel. It's liquid gold, as my sister would say. There are 3 ingredients: sugar, heavy cream, and butter. That's it. So let's get started. All right, so today I'm gonna make some caramel for you guys, and it's very easy. It's 3 ingredients. It's very simple. It's just very tedious. So you just got to pay attention to what you're doing, and let's go. Let's make some caramel. Got 2 cups of sugar. We're gonna add into the pan. You can make this recipe as an organic option as well if you want. You can get organic sugar, you can have organic heavy cream, and organic butter. And those are your 3 ingredients. So we're going to turn the stove on low. It's got to be on like a low medium. And we're just going to let the sugar caramelize. And as soon as you see that the sugar is starting to caramelize and start to melt, then you want to start stirring constantly. Here we go. Okay, so we're watching the caramel, and you need to just kind of stir it periodically. You don't have to stay right on top of it, but you do need to pay attention to it. And as you're watching the sugar, once it starts to caramelize, then you're going to want to really stir it all the time. You don't want to leave it unattended. And this is what it looks like when it starts to caramelize. Got these little lumps in here, and those lumps are going to eventually turn to liquid. And I've been stirring the whole time, letting it melt down. You don't want it to burn. If it burns, it's pretty much ruined. So you just melt down the sugar, and this is what the sugar is looking like as it melts down. Okay, so the caramel, I've been stirring it, and it's now getting where it's caramelizing and it's melting. And there's just a little bit more, you can still see there's still a grain in the sugar. And so you want to make sure that that sugar is completely melted before you actually add your other ingredients. So take a look and see what we got. Okay, so now we've got the caramel or the sugar almost melted. And you can kind of take a look. There are a little bit of chunks in here, but we've got it pretty good and melted. So I'm probably going to go ahead and leave a little bit of these chunks. We can get them out later. But here we've got the melted caramel, and you don't want to overcook it because it will burn. Take a look. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so now we've got this melted down, and before it starts to scorch or burn, I'm gonna put the butter, and it's a whole cube of butter for this recipe. You're gonna do half a cup of butter, and soften your butter or have it at room temperature if you can. And we're just gonna put it right in here. And once we put it in there, we're gonna stir this until it combines as much as you can get it to combine. It's kind of a crazy process because it doesn't like, it's kind of like a oil and water type of mixture. So it doesn't like to combine very well, but we're going to get it as good as we think we can get it without burning it. Just going to try to stir this in as good as I can. And you want to make sure that you have a high heat rubber spatula. That is very, very important to have a high heat spatula. And you want to make this in a good sized saucepan because there will be some steam coming up when you're adding the heavy cream, and it can get really dangerous because the steam gets so hot on your hands. Okay, so I've been stirring vigorously, trying to get this to combine, and we're pretty close. I think it's about as close as it's going to get as far as getting it combined. So I'm going to grab a mitt because this is where the process gets a little hot. And I'm going to keep stirring this, combine that butter, and then the heavy whipping cream, it's 2 cups, and you really got to do this slow. And the heavy cream needs to be at room temperature as much as you can get it as well. And here we go. We're going to pour just in a little bit. I want to take a look and see what it looks like while it's bubbling up. So we've got that. That's what it looks like there. We're going to add a little bit more now that it's subsided, but that steam can get really hot on your hands. So if you've got an oven mitt, I strongly suggest you using a mitt, because otherwise it's really hard to keep this stirring while it's steaming. But you don't want to stop. So you can add a little bit more each time. And it's cooling the caramel at the same time, so it's not as hot, so the steam kind of subsides. Once you're mixing in the heavy cream and the steam subsides, then you can remove your mitt if that's what you choose. Okay, so I've got all of the heavy cream mixed in, and now you can take a look and see how liquefied it is. It's very thin, and so I'm just going to stir this, get it very well combined, get it warm, get it a little bit hotter at temperature, and just keep stirring this for just maybe just a couple of minutes is what I do, till I know it's very well combined. And then we're gonna take it off of the stove. So I've taken it off the stove. I've got it very mixed, very well mixed. And now I'm gonna put it through a strainer, because I've only been doing this for a little while now, and I'm not the best at it. And until I get this recipe perfect, I won't have lumps. But for right now, I've got lumps. So we're gonna see just how many lumps we have. And, ooh, I'm getting pretty good at this, because there's not very many lumps in this recipe. There's a few, not a whole lot. So you can see that these are the lumps that I had, and I don't want to keep that in with my sauce. So I strain it, and I like to, instead of taking a glass bowl, I'll take a stainless steel bowl, or I'll take another pan, and I'll pour it into that, because it is hot caramel. And just beware, if you use a glass bowl and the glass bowl is cold, it could crack. So your best bet is to use another pan or a stainless steel bowl. We're going to stir this a little bit, and then we're going to take any kind of jar, and we're going to pour this into a jar. Look at that. Okay, that jar is 24 ounces, and it filled it up, and we've got probably another few ounces left. That'll tell you about how much that recipe makes. And let's, so good.